What's going on, guys? Welcome back. In our last video, we went over how to both upload information to Firestore. So this is our user information we see here in our database. And then we also went over how to fetch that information from Firestore as well. And we saw that inside of our user service. This is where we're fetching the currently logged in user's information. So we're going to start this video off by going over how to now use that user information to display it in our app. So you guys will notice if we go to the profile page, right now this is just displaying mock data. We want to display actual data that we're getting back from our Firestore database about our currently logged in user in a couple different places in the app. The inbox view with their profile image and the profile page here as well. So let's go ahead and get started with what we need to do that. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is go over to this folder here, and we're going to create two new folders, one for views and one for view models in our inbox folder. And let's go ahead and move these two files up to our views folder. And then we're going to create a view model for our inbox here. So it's going to be a Swift file, and it's going to be called inbox view model. And it's going to be a class, and we're going to say inbox view model. It's going to be an observable object. And we're going to import a couple things up at the top. We're going to import Combine, and we're going to import Firebase. And we're going to have a published variable for our currently logged in user. So I'm going to just say at published var current user, which is an optional user. And very similar to what we did with our auth view model with our Combine listener, we're going to do that here as well. And basically the goal of this is to just pass that currently logged in user information from our user service right here. We want to publish that property over to this inbox view model. And we're going to use that user data inside of the inbox view model to ultimately pass it to our inbox view. So you guys see here that we have this mock user. We're going to want to replace this with what we're getting back from our inbox view model. So let's go ahead and just create a function called setup subscribers. And it's actually going to be private. We don't want to expose this to any other classes except this one. And we are just going to say user service dot shared dot current user with a $.sync. And then go ahead and hit enter on that. You guys will notice that this completion block gives us back a user. We're going to say weak self user in, and then we are going to say self dot current user equals user. And then, guys, we also need to create our cancelables set. So we're going to say private var cancelables equals set any cancelable. And then we are going to store this result in that cancelables set right there. So you guys should see by now that this is a pretty common sort of pattern that we're going to use with Combine to pass values from between classes, or from like a service to a view model type thing. So now we'll be able to utilize the user we get back from our user service inside of this view model, and then ultimately we'll be able to publish this property over to our view to update our view with user data. So let's go ahead and just say init setup subscribers, and then let's go over to our inbox view. And we are going to replace this with a state object view model equals our inbox view model. And then if you guys were to try to build this right now, you are going to get some errors. And that is because we no longer have that user property. We need to get it from our view model now. So what you can do is just say private var user, which is a user. And you can just return our view model dot current user. And now this is a class level property, so we can use that anywhere we need to within our file here. So you guys will notice that we need to make sure that that's not optional. An update I actually made to this circular profile image view was making the user optional there, so we don't always have to use an if let to unwrap that user. So let's just go ahead and update our circular profile image view class. Let's make this guy a var and make it optional, and go ahead and build our code. And the only change you should have to make is making that user guy, or adding a question mark to that user guy right there. And everything should be good to go from there. So if we build again, we notice that our build succeeds and we're good to go. So let's go back to our inbox view, and let's see, that error should now go away. So what I want us to do now is run our code and see if we're actually getting back some information about our user. So this is good. We notice that we're getting the blank placeholder image because our user does not have a profile image. So that's all that's going to show up there. And then I'm logged in as the Joker. So we notice that we are getting back his user or full name right there. And that's information that's coming from Firebase. You guys can see in my print statement that my current user in my service is this user object here. Full name is Heath Ledger, email is joker.com, and we do not have a profile image. So that's looking really, really good, guys. Next step, we notice that we do have an error here. We are publishing changes from a background thread. We don't want to do that. So all we need to do is go back to our inbox view model and make this or add this main actor declaration there, or macro, so that all changes get published to the main thread. And let's just go ahead and run this one more time to make sure that this error goes away. And you guys notice that, let's see. Okay, so it's still there. That's interesting. So I believe what we need to do is go to our user service function and make this fetch current user guy a main actor, add that macro there inside of our fetch current user guy in our user service. And if we go here, I believe we should be able to remove that now from our inbox view model. And you guys notice that we are no longer getting that error. So that looks great. Next up, guys, what I want us to do is go over how to fetch all of the users that exist on the application so that we can ultimately start to be able to click on these things and start a chat with people. So let's go over how we're going to do that.